Yeah, I am recording the screen and the audio from the class. I'm going to start then with the assignment, just so we've covered those questions that you said you were struggling with. So let's have a look at,
Ye-
you said question 6.
Yes, from question 6.
Okay, here's question
That's why I was
6.
panicking because these are the basics and I still was struggling with them.
Yeah, all right. So with basics, you need to apply the correct approach. Remember, accounting is a practical subject. So as always, I'm always going to refer to those 6 accounting rules, okay, those
Yes,
accounting elements. You've got an
yes.
asset, you've got a liability, you've got income and expenses, and then you've got capital and drawings. Those are the only 6 rules that you get in accounting. It doesn't matter how basic the accounting is or how advanced it is, it doesn't matter. The point is, those basic rules are universal and they always apply. So if you keep it
Okay.
simple, it's actually quite easy to approach. You just need to use the correct rules and you need to identify the account. Once you've got the account, then you need to go a step further, get the accounting elements. Then step number 3, what is happening to that actual account? Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? And then once you've got those 3 things, that last step is the easiest step because then you just look at those accounting rules and you see, well, where is the plus or the minus for a particular type of account? And that's why it's
Okay.
important to know those basics. If you know those basics, then you can apply it anywhere. So I'm not going to show the rules today. I showed
Okay.
them yesterday. I want to
Yes.
see if you know your rules in terms of application. You can help me when
Okay.
we look at these questions. So the first one, number 6 says Gizmo Traders has a long-term loan at Vice Bank for 150. These are things you should be picking up on. When you read the question, certain things should stand out. That
Okay.
loan is standing out. Do you know what a loan is?
Yeah, when you borrow money.
Okay, but what type of element is it?
Oh, sorry, it's a liability.
Good. Okay, so there's obviously borrowing here. You have a loan, it's 150.
Yeah.
Then they say on the 28th of Feb, the end of the financial year, interest on the long-term loan had a debit balance of 10,000. Interest on the long-term loan, what is that?
So that's what you have to pay the bank back.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
what element
Oh,
would that fall under? Because that's
um,
the account. So step
liability,
number 1
also
is to get
liability.
the account. So I've given you the account. I'm just testing your application. Do you know
Okay.
what account this is in terms of its elements?
Okay. Is it a liability?
Okay, the long-term loan is the liability. What is the interest on the loan going to be viewed as?
An expense. An
Good.
expense.
Okay, that would be an expense.
Okay.
It's an expense because the definitions are very specific. If you go look at the definition, so I saw when you was it the message? Yeah, it was the message you sent. You said that UNISA's not prescribing a textbook anymore, which is
Yes,
actually quite a
there's
pity
no.
because the textbook is actually better than the study guide. I looked at the study guide. The study guide's exactly the same. They've just changed a few questions. They've added a few activities, but the chapter numbers and the content has stayed the same. That hasn't changed. But I'm surprised they took the textbook resource away because for students that are doing FAC 1502 or 1501, there's a few of them from a UNISA point of view that cover first year accounting. And that
Right.
textbook that they used to prescribe, I'm sure you could probably still get
Should
a
I
copy.
get
But
it?
if you're not studying more accounting, then it's probably not a resource that you'd want to purchase and keep. But if
If
you
it will
were, then
help
I
me,
would
if
obviously
it will help
recommend
me,
it.
yes, no, if it will help me with this set of exams, then I definitely want to get it.
No, remember,
If,
for this set of exam papers that you're going to be, well, the exam that you're going to write, the key is the exam papers. If you can just do more
yeah,
questions, you'll see it will get better.
okay,
Okay,
all right,
because you've
all right,
got the content, the study guide's fine as it is, but it's
yeah,
just a pity to see that they've taken that resource away from the students. But yeah,
yeah.
that you don't have to
And then
stress
I
too
also
much
saw
about.
that, sorry, I also saw that the assignment has been extended to the 20th of May. That was when we were meant to write an exam. So
Okay,
I don't think so I don't think the exam is going to be the 20th of May anymore.
yeah,
It's
probably
obviously
not.
extended. Yeah, it's obviously
Okay.
extended.
Yeah, so at least you've got more time, so you can really go
Yeah.
through the past papers, do as many questions. So I tried to outline the best approach in the email I sent yesterday, just so
Yes, I
that you
saw
have
that.
an
Thank
idea
you.
of what you should be doing. Because students can prepare, but they can do it the right way or the wrong way. So
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
giving you the
Thank you. It
best
helps a lot.
method that works because I've seen it work with students in the past.
Yeah, thanks. It
Okay.
helps. Otherwise, I can jump from chapter to chapter and not know what I'm doing. So thank you.
Yeah,
That does
well,
help.
I would just focus on question by question. So you'll see later when I do the past paper question, the bank recon, I'll refer to that again.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so the basics are okay. You know that this is a liability, you know that's an expense. Then
Yeah.
you need to read the last part which says at the end of the year, it was determined that an interest rate of 10% must still be provided for the long term loan for 4 months. Okay, so what are you
Right.
thinking about? Must still be provided.
So I have to say 10% on the on 150,000.
Okay, but think about it. What are they referring to? What is the basic understanding in terms of the transaction? So what are they describing?
Mm, that it's only for 4 months, I think.
What's only for 4 months?
The interest on the loan.
Okay, so you've got a loan. You know you have to pay interest on the loan. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you paid interest on the loan?
No, not yet.
Well, there's a portion that's outstanding. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay,
right?
so when you read a transaction like this, you need to be able to interpret like what actually happened because that's the important bit. So, are you okay with that interpretation? If you read this again, would you be able to identify this as being, well, I have a loan, I'm going to have to charge, well, I'm going to be charged interest and I'm going to have to pay interest. And based on what I know here, have I paid all the interest?
Right. No, you haven't paid 4 months worth of interest. Is
Good.
that
Okay,
right?
so what do you call interest
It's
expenses that aren't paid for?
an accrued expense, I think.
Good. Okay, so this is part of your adjustments. You've got a whole chapter on
Right.
that, looking at different
Yes.
adjustments that happen at year end. Okay, so year end adjustments only take place at year end because of accuracy. You want the financial statements to be as accurate as possible. Sometimes you have situations like this. Right, remember, we spoke a lot about diagrams yesterday. Start of the
Yeah.
year, end of the year. Okay, even with simple examples like this, you need to look at the financial year. How long is the financial year?
12 months.
Good. Okay, so are you going to have to show interest for 12 months if you've had the loan for 12 months?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, and that's the key point. That's the basic understanding regarding those adjustments. So when you look at the adjustment chapter, the whole chapter, just to summarize it, is looking at accuracy.
Okay.
If I've got a 12-month financial year, I have to show interest for the entire year if I've had the loan for the entire year. And if the loan is going to be charged interest for the entire year, I have to show that.
Okay.
Okay, so now we can do the calculation. So here you've got determined that the interest rate is 10% must still be provided for. And that's on 4 months. Right, so what are you going to do? How do you work out interest? Do you remember?
It's principal amount. I think it's principal amount times, I think, the period.
Before
Amount
the
of
period,
time.
what do you times it by? Principal times what times period? Or
Times the
time?
interest rate.
Okay, that's
The
good.
interest
Yeah, the rates.
rate.
Okay, there's the formula.
Okay.
Okay, what's the principal?
150,000.
Yes, the total amount outstanding.
Right.
Okay, what was the rate?
10%.
Good. What is the time?
Times 4/12.
Good. Okay, well done. So that's the working that you would do to determine the interest. If we go back to the question, you've identified all the correct values. Okay, we just need to consider this 10,000. Okay, if
Yeah,
you
that's
read
so.
the question, it says 28 Feb 20.1. Where is that? Beginning or end?
Beginning.
No.
Hold on. The end. Sorry, it says the
Yes.
end.
Okay, end of the financial year. they tell you the interest on the loan had a debit balance. We said earlier the debit balance represents an expense. So how much are they showing currently? 10,000.
10,000.
Do you agree?
Right. Yes.
Okay, that's the interest they're showing. If I multiply this out,
So the interest that you already owe them is 10,000. Is that right? Is that what it means?
not that you already owe them, the interest that you've recorded in terms of what you've probably paid. The reason why they would have recorded it is because they probably paid it during the year.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's a whole accrual versus cash principle. So maybe just to highlight that point, okay,
Okay.
there's an accrual system versus a cash system.
Okay.
Right, and that's the basis for recording transactions. Okay, so are you going to record transactions based on cash or accrual? When we're looking at accruals, then you've got income earned and expenses incurred.
Okay.
So what does that mean? Well, let's think of an example. Okay, think about credits. If you're running a business and you are selling goods on credit, are you going to record the sale when you give the customer the goods, or are you going to record the sale when the customer pays for the goods that they have for the amount that's outstanding? What are you going to do?
When you give them the goods.
Correct. Okay, that's an accrual system. Okay, so income is earned. It doesn't matter whether I've received the actual cash or not. That's not important when looking at accruals. Okay, what is important is, well, did you earn the income? Okay, and did you incur the expense? Same with water and electricity. Okay, you use water and electricity during the month. Only at the end of the month does the municipality then bill you for the consumption during the month. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
when you've used the water and electricity, it is what it is. It's still an expense. You can't change that. But you're either going to show it when you've incurred the expense or when you pay it. And the payment is looking more at this, the cash system. Okay, the cash basis. Right, and then cash is obviously receipts and payments.
Okay.
Okay, you don't do a cash flow in this module, so you don't have to worry too much about cash in terms of brackets cash flow. Cash flow is covered in FAC1501. Okay, that's the module just after this. Okay, so the foundation module in terms of accounting is this one. There are different variations of it because of student degrees. There's like a law degree one. There's a normal BCom degree. There's the one that you're doing, and then there's another one that's more basic. So depending on your subjects, you're probably not going to have to do that because you said previously that it's just this one module that you need to cover. So that you'll never have to worry about. But I'm just mentioning it because it's covered here in terms of the cash versus accrual.
Okay.
Okay, so how much do we need to still apply in terms of the total? For 4 months, we said the interest rate was 10%. 5,000 is the portion that's outstanding.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because that's the 4 months. Have a look at this. 150,000, okay, times 10% equals. What would that be?
I don't have a calculator.
It's fine, there's it there. 15,000.
15,000.
Okay, 15,000 is what? The total interest for the whole year.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, because it's 10% per annum, right?
Right.
Okay, so if you've got a loan of 150,000 and if you're being charged 10% interest, how much interest are you going to incur during the year?
15,000.
Correct. Okay, have you recorded the 15,000? No, how much have you recorded?
10,000.
Correct. Right, and what do you still need to record?
5,000.
There we go. Okay, so what is this? It's an accrual. It's an adjustment. It's an adjustment for a
It's an accrued expense, I
accrued
think.
expense. There we go. See, you've got it. Okay, that's how the basics fit in. Okay, now you apply that four-step approach. Let me write them down again here. Account, which is the keyword. Okay, step 2, element. What is the element? In other words, asset, liability, income, expense, capital drawings.
Right.
Then, what's happening to it in terms of the effect, increase, decrease. And then the last step, debit or credits. So you never have to worry about this step. I'm not asking you to study a list of transactions. Okay, you can. If you go look at the study guide, they give you a whole list of transactions. They say when you have this type of transaction, you debit this account and you credit that account. And then you can study that. Okay, that can work, but then you need to remember all the different possible transactions. Okay, this is a process. The process works if you know how to apply it. Okay, application takes time, but it's the best approach. Okay, you don't forget how to drive. Okay, you don't forget how to ride a bike. Okay, you don't forget how to swim. Okay, those are processes, those are skills. Okay, once you've covered it, once you know how to do something, then it's easy to do. It doesn't matter what situation you've been given. Right, so notice, what situation have we been given? It's an adjustment. Same process.
Yeah.
Step number 1, what was the keyword? Well, I've got a keyword. Accrued interest expense. There's the keyword. Step number 2, what is it? You said liability. Okay?
Right.
Step number 3, what is the effect? So in other words, am I recording more or less of an accrued expense? What am I doing?
You're crediting it.
I'm recording. Well, before you say credit, go through the process. Am I recording an expense, an accrued expense, or am I not? What am I doing? Am I increasing the amount that I'm recording?
Yes, you're increasing it because
Yes. Okay. So before, did I have an accrued expense? No, I didn't. Okay. So step number 3 is looking at, maybe just to add something next to this, record keeping. Okay. We know accounting is a system for presenting information for people to use. Okay, so accountants create the information. Okay, then financial managers use that information. Okay, so you're probably not going to do any financial management courses, but if you look at UNISA's structure, you can't do any of the finance courses if you haven't done accounting. Okay, this is actually a prerequisite. So you have to do FAC1502 1601 before you do any of the other subjects. And the reason for that is this: record keeping. Okay, do you understand and interpret, or can you interpret the information? And then once you can, then you can apply it. Right, so this whole subject is just looking at that one thing: record keeping, creating information, being able to interpret and understand it.
Right.
Okay, so you've got that. Now you apply the rule. Where do liabilities increase?
On the credit side.
Correct, and that's how you get the credits. Right, start again. Look at the first process, get another keyword. Okay, why do we have an accrued expense? It's because of the interest. Okay, have I paid all of it? No, I haven't. So the reason why I have this accrual is because of that. I haven't paid all my interest. Okay, so step number 1, we've got the account, interest expense or interest paid. Okay, step number 2, what is it? It's an expense. Step number 3, am I going to record more interest or less interest?
More interest.
Good. Okay, you should know your rules. Where do expenses increase?
On the debit side.
Good. Okay, how much is the accrued expense? We just worked it out earlier. 5,000. Okay, so which option are we going to choose? There should be an option that looks like this one. Debit interest, debit, interest, interest, interest. So it's one of those. That one's out, that one's out. Okay. Credit, accrued expense, that's good. Accrued income, no. Income received advance, no. Amount, 5,000. 2's perfect.
2. Okay.
Okay, let's write a question number here as well. Question 6. Right, and that's the approach. The approach is always going to stay the same. That process works. Okay, I don't know too much about your background. Did you do accounting at school, or did you only start accounting when you went to university?
No, I only started when I came to university.
Okay, that's actually the best time to start because you don't have bad habits from school because sometimes students are taught just to study things. Okay, the school
Yeah.
system's a little bit, um, how can I say, um, old school. Okay, in terms
Yeah.
of they just teach like parrot learning. So they give
Yeah.
students things to study and then they've got to study it and then they've got to regurgitate it when they get to the test. That's not the best way of studying. Right, the best way of
Mm.
studying is understanding and application. That's the key. Right, and university is all about that. Okay, and that's why some students struggle when they get to university because their whole life has been focused on study, 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 and then no application. All right, so
Yeah.
application is important, and this is what I'm trying to share with you in terms of the approach. Okay, this is the approach. This approach will never, ever, ever change. Okay, this approach is covered in the first few chapters because they look at the accounting equation.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're struggling with that, you can maybe go back and you can check and look for questions. I'm not going to say textbook, I'm going to say study guide because they're not prescribing a textbook, so study guide. Right, and then you'll see activities, exercises. Okay, so what you
Yes.
can do, you can block out the answer. Okay, so cover the answer. Don't look at the answer. Right, go through each of those transactions in terms of the accounting equation and then see if you can get that. Can you get the debit? Can you get the credit? Can you get the debit? Can you get the credit? And then look at
Right.
the solution and then see if you are right. Okay, did I debit the right account? Did I credit the right account? Right, that's approach. Once you've got the approach, it might take some time. Hopefully you're
Mm.
okay with that and it's not too difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. They were just actually that's exactly what I did last night. Actually,
Good.
was I went to chapter 5 and I practiced. There were just a few questions that maybe at a later stage we can go over.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's the right approach. To take the analysis and to apply it because once you get this right, then it doesn't matter what they give you. Okay, they can give you anything. If you've approached it correctly, you're going to get it right. You're going to get the right working. That's the working. So now the question asked for that answer. Okay, but that's just the working. It's actually a general journal entry. But
Okay.
I can use this to complete a journal. I can use this to complete a ledger. Okay, when we did that ledger question yesterday, I was even doing this as part of the ledger question because I needed to
Yeah.
know which side to debit, which side to credit. And the only way I can tell which side to debit and credit is by applying this, my working. Okay, then I go through the process. Okay, I'm not remembering what to do. I'm applying a process because the process works.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so let's see how this one goes. Use the accounting information, snow plumbing services, periodic system. That's important. Do you know what the system is?
I think it's you only there's no inventory, there's purchases
Good. What
and
else?
no cost of sales.
There is cost of sales, but how do you get it?
Oh, at the end, I think you have to do a stock take.
Very good. You've got it. Okay, cost of sales calculation. Okay, so looking at this question, I haven't looked at the required yet, but because I'm thinking about this, because I know that in the inventory chapter, they spoke about this cost of sales as being a calculation that I need to consider because of opening stock and closing stock. All right, you're not going to keep track of stock all the time. That's why it's called periodic. Periodic means not all the time. I'm going to sometimes account for my inventory. And when do I account for my inventory? When I do that stock take. Okay, so you'll
Okay.
always see opening and closing in a question related to this, the periodic
Okay.
system. Okay, see, this is what you're thinking about in terms of application. Okay, that's the theory. So when I spoke about theory yesterday, okay, you've only got to study the theory in terms of understanding. So when you see something like this, do you understand what implications this has for the question? Okay, you've already got
Right.
that right. You know cost of sales is going to have to be calculated. Okay, so
I
you're
just
on the
don't know
right
how to.
track. Now you need to look at the question and you need to apply what you know in terms of the calculation. Okay, so if I look at the question, opening stock, cash purchases, credit purchases. Purchases are purchases. It doesn't matter how you buy the stock. if I'm looking at a T account for inventory, okay, or purchases I should call it because of periodic, I'm going to use that account to record an increase in inventory, okay, in terms of the purchases that I'm making. Okay, then I've got returns. I've got freight inwards, I've got freight outwards. I've got discounts as well. Okay, discounts. When do they apply?
With creditors and debtors.
Good. Okay, nice. Creditors and debtors, discounts apply. Okay, not for cost of sales.
Right.
Okay, next bit. Additional information. The owner of Snow donated taps and basins the value of 1,000. Okay, what business are we running? A plumbing service business. So taps and basins for a plumbing service would be inventory. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, that's context. Okay, I've read the business. I know what they're doing. I know if they're taking or donating or using the taps and basins. Okay, that's part of the inventory. Okay, and they donated this to a local creche. Then they say no entries regarding this transaction has been made in the accounting records. Okay, so they've omitted the donation.
Okay.
7. The cost of sales is. Okay, there we go. We didn't even look at that, but we had an idea that we're probably going to have to calculate cost of sales because we know periodic requires a working. Right, so let's show the working. Okay, this requires some studying. Right, cost of sales. Right, you said this is an open book test because of the lockdown. So what I would maybe suggest you do is create a separate page. Okay, maybe take a big A3 paper and write down all the formulas that you'll need. So like this formula, I'll write down on that page. This formula, I'll write down on that page. And then when you do your open book test, you're not going to be flipping through your study guide to look for it. You can just look at your summary page and you can say, okay, do I need that formula? Okay, I need it, there's it, and then you can use it. Do I need this formula? Okay, I need it, there's it, I can use it. Okay, so try use that in your exam because it's an open book test. So you can have notes with you, you can have summaries with you. So I would definitely create a separate page for all the equations. Okay, any equation that they've covered in FAC1502, I'm going to write it on that page. Okay, maybe if you want to, you could even show structure, maybe show a little statement of comprehensive income or a statement of financial position or a statement of changes in equity. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, you can make it as detailed or as summarized as you want to, but at least have something that you can just look at quickly. So you're not paging through lots and lots of information to try to find something when you can just look at this and say, okay, there's my formula, I can use it.
That's a great idea, thank you.
Opening stock plus purchases minus purchases returns. Okay, plus any other costs, other inventory related costs. I'm going to put an asterisk next to that. Okay, and then less closing stock. Right, that's the formula. Right, I've abbreviated and summarized a little bit. For example, I've grouped the other stuff as just other. Okay, what goes into other? Carriage on purchases. Okay, there could be import duties, but specific to the inventory. So if I'm buying goods from another country, right, I'm probably going to have to pay import duties on those goods. Right, if that's the case, then I need to include that as part of the cost of sale because I can't sell goods that I haven't paid for in terms of the import duties. Okay, I have to pay for all those costs, those other costs that will then form part of the cost of inventory. All right, so that's the formula. You copy that, you paste it, then you start substituting in amounts. Okay, first amount, opening stock. Did you see that in the question? Yes. Where was it? Here at the beginning. 1st July 20.7, other date 31st July 20.8. Okay, you can clearly see there's a 12-month period there. That's the start, that's the end. So the starting amount of stock is 150.
Yeah.
Okay, did I buy stock during the year? Cash purchases and credit purchases, 15 and 6.
Okay.
Plus 15 plus 6. Okay, what else? Let's go back. Purchase returns, I did have 2.
2,000.
Okay, freight inwards. Okay, freight inwards would be carriage on purchases.
Oh, okay. So,
Right, sometimes they use different vocabulary words to describe it. Right, because this is specifically looking at inventory. Okay, I would assume that this was for goods that I was buying. Okay, the freight outwards. Okay, when you freight outwards, what are you doing? Are you buying or selling?
selling.
Correct. This is part of the sales. Okay, selling. Sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, if I'm selling goods, those goods are going to be sold. There's going to be delivery on that. Okay, do you include the delivery cost of those goods being sold as part of the cost of sales?
No.
No, you don't. Good. Okay, selling expenses are selling expenses. They're separate. Okay, so you've got that answer. You can only substitute in the one amount. What is the amount? What is it? 1,200. Freight inwards. Okay, let's go back. Let's see. Freight outwards we spoke about. Okay, discounts we spoke about. Discounts received affects who? Which one? The debtor or the creditor? It's received.
Are you getting it? It's the creditor.
Good. Okay. Discounts that are received will affect the creditor. Right, so I'm just revising as we go because had we had a question with creditors in it, then we would have to look at that. Right, if we had a tier account for creditors, we would have to look at that. Okay, and then discount granted would be for the other one, the debtor. And then the last bit, 120 closing stock. Let's put that in. Closing stock, 120. The only thing that we haven't looked at yet was this, the donation. Okay, this is a donation from the owner of Snow Plumbing Services. Okay, the owner donated taps to the value of 1,000 to a local creche. Okay,
Oh, so it's like
what's happening here?
It's an expense, I think.
No, it's not an expense.
He's giving taps and basins to.
Okay, if the owner's giving it, it could have been drawings. Okay, if you're going expense, then you need to be specific. Then you could maybe say a donation expense, and that's fine. Okay, I was thinking more along the lines of drawings, but it's fine. Both are fine. Okay, if the owner's taking it, so whose creche is it? It might be his child's creche, and then it will be personal use. But if it isn't, it doesn't matter. Then donations is probably better, right? But both would be fine. Okay. Donation expense drawings. It doesn't matter which one you're looking at. So if you went this route, it's a debit. If you went that route, it's a debit. Okay, what account are you going to credit?
Bank.
No, there's no cash here. You're not donating cash.
Oh, right. Taps and basins,
Yes, which is?
which is an expense.
Which is
Sorry.
inventory, which is purchases. Yeah.
Okay. Inventory, which is purchases. Is purchases an asset?
No, purchases is an
donate-
expense. Okay, but it's for the
Right.
periodic system. Yeah.
So it's credited because it's decreasing.
Yes, it would be credited against the purchases. So, where's my purchases? Here, the first two. Okay, so I'm going to subtract. How much did they donate? 1,000.
Yeah.
Right, there's the working. Here's the answer. 49,200. Ooh, not here. Okay. Was there errata for this question?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Actually, I wouldn't actually know, to be honest.
Okay, all right. So let's go back and check. Let's see. Inventory, do we use the right figures? Yes. Okay, let me go put this up and then just shrink it. Let's just see what we've got here. Okay, inventory. What amount did I use for inventory? Opening stock is correct. Okay, the purchases, we had cash and we had credit. Purchases are purchases. You're still going to debit your inventory or purchases. So you'll debit purchases, you'll credit the bank or you'll credit the creditors. Yeah, so that's fine. That's in there. Was it the right figure? 15 and 6, yes. Okay, purchase returns, -2. I've got -2. What else do we have? Freight inwards. Freight inwards, carriage and purchases, 1,200. That's an additional cost. That's there. Freight outwards, that's selling expenses. You don't include that. That's out. You don't put that in. Settlement discount received, that affects creditors, debtors, closing stock, 1,200. Yeah, 120. Nothing wrong with that. And then here, let's just read this part again. The owner of snow donated taps and bases to the value. Okay, so if the owner contributed the basins and taps, okay, here's a consideration. Let me write it down on our notes. Okay, the owner contributed taps and basins to the creche. Okay, question mark here. Was this a personal transaction? Personal means the owner did this from his own private goodwill. Okay, not from the business. So remember, if you go look at the textbook information, they talk about a business perspective.
Right.
Right? So in other words, the business donating. Okay, so if the business donates stock, right, the business is going to then account for the donation as part of its purchases that will be decreasing. Does that make sense?
Yes, okay.
Okay, so the business perspective, if the business is seen as donating stock, then the business would have to account for that donation. Right, but reading this, it says the owner, so the owner of the business donated to the local creche. So that might be a personal transaction. So think about this. You might work for a business, okay? Let's assume you're working for Snow Plumbing Services, okay? You might even be the owner of the business. Right, if your business donates products to a creche, okay, but it's from the business, then you would affect the cost of sales for the business. But what happens if you, as the owner, you, out of your own goodwill, okay, not related to the business, you go to a local creche and then you give taps and basins as an individual. So it's an individual donation, not a business donation. Would you include that?
No.
No, you wouldn't. Exactly. Okay, so I think maybe that's the actual interpretation here because it's a little bit vague. They just say the owner donates, but the owner can donate as an individual, okay, or the business can donate as a business. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Right, so if no entries are recorded in the accounting records of Snow Plumbing Services yet, to me that indicates that this is an individual transaction where they haven't accounted for the donation.
Okay.
Because it's private, it's not business, it's personal.
So then it would be drawings.
No, it wouldn't be drawings. Okay, you wouldn't record it because it's not something that the owner is doing in terms of business, it's personal.
Yes, okay, fine.
Okay, so then let's see if we can get an option that's there. So let's make that assumption. So if your niece is going that route, okay, and they're not going to provide for the donation because it's personal and not business, then you would leave out the 1,000 that we had there, and then we would get a different answer. So let's change this, delete that. Okay, 50,200. Still not there. Okay, there's a problem with the question. Right, this one you can query. Even if you look at it both ways. This method or that method, you don't get an option that's there. This one you can query with UNISA. There's a problem with the question.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay, check with UNISA. Okay. There's two possible answers. It's either 49,200. Okay, if you're assuming that the business is the one donating and then the business would have to provide for the donation of stock, right, then you would do it as is. Right, if you assume that it's a personal contribution to the local creche and it's not a business specific transaction, then you would have that answer. Okay, but either or, okay, one of the two needs to be an answer in the actual question. Okay, the MCQ.
Okay, so I'll put
Okay,
this on my
raise
discussion.
this on the discussion forum or email or do both.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Right, or just check, maybe there is a post online, right? Because they
Yeah.
want the cost of sales. Cost of sales? Not here.
Alright.
Okay, and the amounts are all correct. We checked it.
Yeah.
Right, and there's no previous question, so this is it. It's in isolation.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 to 11. Right, so there's a few here. That was 7. Let's go 8 to 11. Okay, when you have a question like this, it's linked. Right, so there are multiple things that you need to consider. Let's look at scope. Accountant at Summerhill, traders was on sick leave. Her assistant has limited accounting knowledge, prepared the trade receivables control account. Okay, there's the control accounts. What type of account is this?
It's debt. It's an asset account.
Good. Okay, what balances does an asset have?
A debit balance.
Good. Can you see some mistakes already?
Right.
Okay, what balance is that?
Oh, it's on the wrong side.
Exactly. Okay, so you can see there's limited knowledge here in terms of rules. All right, what else do we have? She's been given you she has given you the following information for the month of September, okay? Requested your help in identifying and rectifying mistakes. All right, so you're basically going to fix this account. All right, additional information. Okay, so all of this we need to provide for, okay, as part of the fixing, okay, the corrections, right? So that's fine. Okay, what do we have here? Number 8. What will the general... Okay, so this we can all answer later on. Right, you'll see they're looking at specific corrections. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, let's correct the question. T account. Okay, I'm going to show the rule. Plus on this side, minus on that side. Okay, you've done that already. You know what it is. You know what you should do. So the first thing we need to do is obviously put a balance.
Right.
Okay, the balance is, go back to the question, 15,900. Cross it off if you've looked at it, so you don't have to look at it again. 15,900. That should have gone on that side of the account.
Okay.
Okay, what else do we see here? Here, bank, CRJ.
And it
Right.
should be on the other side.
What is this representing? If it's the CRJ, what's happening? What's happening with the debtor?
They're giving you money. You're receiving money.
Correct. So what are you going to do to your account?
Debited.
Debit your account. So you're going to increase the debtors when they pay you.
No. Oh, it's going to decrease.
There we go. Okay, so think about it logically. Right, remember accounting is logical because it's literally what is actually happening. It's a transaction. Right, so what is the transaction? Cash receipts journal. Okay, what happens in a cash receipts journal? I receive money from a debtor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then the next step is, if I'm receiving money from a debtor, how is that going to affect the debtor?
It's going to decrease. They're going to have
Correct.
less of a...
Yeah, see how easy that is?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just follow the process. Think about it logically. Okay, what happened here? I received money from the debtor. Okay, how do I decrease debtors? Credit. So that's right. They did the right thing there. 9130. That's correct. Bank will go on this side.
Okay.
CRJ. 9130. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Cross out. Okay, sales returns and VAT input. Right, what happens when you have a sales return?
They're returning the goods, so it's something to do with your debtors. Your
Yes,
debtors.
what happens to your debtors?
They decrease.
Very good. Okay, so again, this is correct. Okay, sales returns would be viewed as what?
as an expense.
Yes. Okay. So if you think about it, all right, you would have debited debtors, you would have
Yeah.
credited sales. Okay, what happens when you sell? You do that, right? And then when you get the return back, you do the opposite, right?
Yes.
Sales returns, credit debtors. Okay, so what are you going to do to the debtors? You're going to credit the debtors. Have they credited the debtors? Yes, they have. That's also
That's right.
correct.
Okay.
Okay, they've obviously included the VAT as well as one line item. So that's fine. I'm just going to leave it as is, 5,600. What else do we have? Okay, the balance we don't need to show because the balance will have to be corrected. Okay, what do we have on this side? Sales and VAT outputs. What is this representing? Sales journal.
Right. It's an income. It should be on the credit side.
No, sales is an income.
Right. So shouldn't it be on the credit side?
Sales
Oh,
will have a credit.
okay, but not VAT output. VAT.
Have a look at the working. What's happening to sales? Are you crediting or debiting sales?
Crediting.
Good, you're crediting sales. Is this account
Yeah.
sales?
Yes.
No, this account is trade receivables.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
what are you
Okay.
doing to trade receivables?
Okay, you're debiting it.
Yes. Okay, debit debtors or trade receivables, credit
Okay.
sales.
I get confused with this often, actually.
Okay, because you're not looking at the accounts. Okay, you're looking at the description.
Okay, fine.
Okay, the account is trade receivables. This account must be debited.
Right, okay.
Okay,
And
this account
asset,
must be credited. Do you see that?
right. Yes,
Okay,
okay,
what you
fine.
write in here is the description. You're writing what happened. You're writing the contra account. Okay,
Okay,
all right, so that's
okay.
also correct. 12,600. Happy with that?
Yes.
Okay, so they haven't made too many mistakes. Obviously, the mistakes come later on because they've identified things that were incorrect. Okay, from what we read in the question, identifying and rectifying mistakes. Okay, so let's go look at the mistakes. In addition to the errors made in the trade receivables control account above, you have listed the following errors and omissions made by the assistant. Okay, number one, interest was charged on Mrs. Naidu's account. Okay, the debtor, who owed Summer Hill Traders 2,000. Her account was overdue by 6 months. Interest is charged at 12% per annum.
That's
Okay, have we
accrued in.
recorded this? No, it's an omission. Do you see
Uh,
that?
okay.
Okay, how are you going to record interest for a debtor? Give me the working.
Not sure. Oh, the principal amount? Is
No, no,
that
that's the formula. What's the working? What's the debit and credit? When
not sure.
interest is charged to a debtor's account, what are you going to do? Okay, let's follow the approach. Give me the key words. Interest is charged to Mrs. Naidu's account. She's the debtor. What's the key word?
Oh, it's data.
Good. What is debtors?
It's an asset.
Good. What's happening to the asset when you're charging the debtor interest?
It's increasing
Good. Where do assets increase?
on the debit side.
There we go. Okay, give me another keyword.
Interest, I think.
Yes. Interest received or interest income, either or. I'm going to use income. Interest income, income, right?
Yes,
Okay, increase or decrease?
it's increasing
Correct. Where does income increase?
on the credit side.
There we go. Okay, that's how you get the working using that approach. Right, now you've got it. Now look at the working. The working is the answer. What account am I
Right.
doing? Debtors. What am I going to do to my debtors?
You're going to debit.
There we
So it's going to
go.
be, you're going to debit interest income.
100%. Okay, this would have been a general journal entry because you don't have a journal for interest. It's unique, it's different, it's separate. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, how much do they owe? 2,000. How much are they being charged? 12%. How long is it overdue? 6 months. Now you can give me that working that you had earlier. 2,000 times 12% times 6 over 12. Agree?
Yes.
Okay, this should be a times, not a plus. Times. 2,000 times 12% times 6 over 12. Enter. Let's double check. 2,000 times 12% times 6 over 12. Okay, that's been recorded now. Tick.
Okay.
Trade receivables control column and the settlement discount grant column in the cash receipts journal had totals of that and that. Okay, this is in which journal? The trade receivables control column. Okay, in the cash receipts journal. Did we have a cash receipts journal? Yes, we did. Here, see cash receipts journal. Right, the 9130. It was 9130. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, they tell you that there is a discount. Okay, so in terms of the totals, the trade receivables control column had a total of 9,330, and they tell you that the discount was 45. So if you had to split that, okay, you would have debited bank because you're getting money from the debtor. You would have debited discount allowed because you're giving them a discount. You would have credited debtors. What was the amount? 9130. Okay, they tell you that the discount was 450. Okay, and the bank would have been the difference.
So if there was VAT on this question, would you only do, I forgot what I was going to ask now. Would you only work out VAT on the discount, not on the full amount if there was VAT?
Okay, remember, VAT can apply to a discount, but that's a special case. Okay, VAT applies in terms of the general application to buying and selling of goods and services in terms of the normal course of business.
Right. Because I would have had a VAT account because I was practicing stuff like this last night, and I was doing a VAT account also for something like this.
For discount allowed, you can have VAT. Discount allowed would be treated as an expense, so you could potentially have input VAT. Possible input VAT on the discount, but it's a special case.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's taking it too far because now you're wanting to split this further, which you can, but not necessary.
Okay.
Okay, the point is, what account are you looking at? This one. The debtors. Did you credit the debtors? Yes. Okay, was it the full amount? Yes, it was. So if you wanted to, you could have said here, and input VAT, because of what you said, and bank. No, we have bank, and discount. Okay, so basically this one amount could have been split into 3 amounts if you wanted to also look at that.
Okay.
All right, but we don't need to if we're just looking at the balance.
Yes.
Okay, we're just reading and we're interpreting, so we're understanding. Right, if this was a written question, then I would have to do all of this.
Right.
Okay, but it's multiple choice, so we just need to make sure they haven't made any mistakes. We're correcting mistakes that they have made. Okay, so they could have shown this separately. It wouldn't have changed this, though. It would have just changed the disclosure, that's all. Okay, it's still fine, though. There isn't any problems with that. Okay, then we've got Mr. R. Nyati. Okay, the cash client of Summer Traders returned goods to the value of. Okay, would a cash return affect your debtors?
Yes.
No, the cash return won't.
Oh, cash. Oh, because it's cash.
Yes, but did you record it as credit?
Oh, yeah, it was recorded in the wrong journal.
Is that a mistake?
Yes.
That's a mistake.
Because sales returns you only do for on credit.
Sales returns is specifically for debtors, correct? A cash return would affect the bank, not the debtors.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a mistake here.
Okay.
All right, so what must we do? We need to take out the return from the sales return. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, 500 needs to come out of the return. Here's the return. So now we are going to do a working for this. 5,600 minus 500 because we can't include that.
Okay.
Okay, next. Miss Luna attorneys declared a dividend, 30 cents in the rand, from her insolvent estate. Okay, so we have a debtor going insolvent. All right, she
Yeah.
owed 1,000 rand. Her outstanding debt must be written off as irrecoverable. Is this going to affect your debtor's control account?
Yes.
Yes, it will. Right, how much
Yeah.
are you going to write off?
1,000 rand.
No. You can't write off 1,000 rand
What?
because you received some of it.
Oh, did she receive some of it? Did they receive
Yes.
some?
How much did her insolvent estate declare?
Oh, 30 cents.
30 cents to the rand. How much did she owe?
She owed 1,000 rand. So 1,000 minus 30 cents.
Well, not 30 cents. 30 cents in the rand. So every rand, 30 cents of the rand. Does that make sense?
Oh.
So 1,000 times 30 cents is that, 300.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so how much was received? 300. How much was written off?
1,000.
700.
700.
The difference, right?
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry.
Okay, she
Yeah.
owed 1,000. Okay,
Yes.
she paid 30 cents in the rand for the 1,000 that she owed, and the rest is going to be written off.
Yeah.
Okay, 700 is the bad debt. Do you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we need to record this. What did they say in the question? Declared a dividend, owed that. Her outstanding debt must be written. Okay, so outstanding debt must be written off. So only the 700.
Okay.
That's what the question said. Okay,
Okay.
next.
Is trade receivables account and trade receivables control account the same thing?
Well, the control account is just looking at a summary of all the separate debtors. Because think about it, are you going to have one customer or many?
Many.
Yes. Okay, so the control account is just a summary of all the customers. So every customer will have their own account. This trade receivables control account would be one account summarizing everybody else's small account. So I would have had one account for person A, and then with their details.
Okay.
Okay, I'll have another account for person B with their details. I'll have another account with person C with their details, and so on and so on and so on.
Mhm.
Okay, so a control account is just a summary of all of these people's accounts in one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because this is the accounting, this would be the management accounting.
Okay.
Okay, management accounting detailed. Okay, why? Well, let's assume person A phones the business and they say, how much do I owe you? What are you going to tell them? Are you going to tell them what everybody owes you? Or are you going to tell
Yeah.
them what they owe you?
That's what they owe you.
Exactly. All right, so this would have been a trade receivable account for A, or a debtor's account for A, a debtor's account for B, a debtor's account for C, and then all of them will be summed up as one aggregate account, and that total would have everything.
Right.
Okay, so this total is just tracking everything, everybody, all of them together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, next bit. The sales journal was under cost. Does the sales journal affect debtors?
Yes.
Good. Under cost means too little. Add to it.
Okay.
12600 plus under cost 100. Right, so now we've adapted that. Okay, Mr. Smith's check of 1.5 was dishonored. Do you still remember what a dishonored check is from yesterday?
Yeah, when the other person doesn't have enough money to pay it.
Good. So the check bounces.
Yeah.
Okay, where do you show that? A dishonored check will always affect the debtors how?
It decreases your debtors.
Decreases your debtors.
Oh, it increases because you got more people owing you.
Well, let's think about it. Okay, here's the example. Let's assume that those people that paid us by check.
Right.
When they write out the check, what are we going to do? We're going to decrease our debtors because we believe they've paid us. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right, now later on you take that check, you go to the bank, you deposit it into the bank account. A few days later the bank comes back to you and says, "Sorry, I can't transfer money from that person that gave you the check because the check bounced."
Okay.
Did you actually receive money here?
No, you didn't receive money.
Correct. Okay, so dishonored checks always increase the debtors.
Right. Okay.
Dishonored. Okay, checks dishonored. Debit, debtors, credit, bank. Okay, that you can study if you want to, or you can think about it. Alright, so what's going to happen here? Debtors will be debited because of bank credits.
Right.
Check RD, dishonored checks. How much? 1,005. Okay, the trade receivables control account had a debit balance of 5,900 at 31st August 20.7. Where is that date? Let's go back and see. 31st August is last month, right? Because we're in September.
Okay.
So it would have been the opening balance. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, we're looking at month of September. Month of September is the current month. This was 31st August. So that would have been opening balance. So 15,900 was the opening balance. Where's my opening balance? 15,000. Okay, it's right.
Okay.
Okay, there's the 59.
Okay.
Right, that's confirmation. That's fine. Mrs. Singh, okay, accounts of 150 was written off irrecoverable on the 30th of August. She paid Summer Hill Traders 150 on 1 September. Okay, this is called bad debts recovered.
Okay.
Bad debts recovered. Okay, if you're recovering bad debts, do you have a debtor on September if you've written them off in August?
No, so
No,
debt
you
has
don't.
increased.
Okay, it doesn't
Debt
affect your control accounts.
okay.
Okay, credit losses recovered. Okay, you've written them off, so you can't reinstate them. Once you write them off, you write them off. The past is the past. Okay, you don't show the debt that you had and then you don't pay it off again. That doesn't work. Right, once you write off a debtor, it's the end. Make sense? Shane, are you still there? I've lost your audio. Shane, are you still there?
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Okay, I got some audio back. Your connection seems quite slow. Can you say something?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, all right, that's a bit better. Yeah, I lost you there a little bit. I saw your microphone's on, but I wasn't getting
Can you
anything.
hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay, but there's an echo in the background. Did you
Can you
change
help me?
room or something, or did
Can
you
you hear
move?
me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Sorry, the internet connection, I didn't go to my parents. It's a bit unstable.
Okay, all right, it's fine. It's fine. I can hear you now. It's okay. All right, so you're back. I just didn't hear anything, so I wasn't sure what happened. But okay,
No,
did you
I
follow
was
that?
replying. Yes, I did follow that. Thank
Okay,
you.
that's fine. Okay, good. So that one covers that bit, and that's it. Right, now we need to answer the questions. What will be the general ledger entries for the interest charge on Mrs. Naidu's overdue account? Okay, we looked at that. Interest, there's it. Interest, there's it. How much was it? 120. Debit the debtors, credit the interest income.
Right.
Okay, let me put this on and then I can see it. There's so many options there. Okay, let's look at it. Okay, where's my working? Here. All right, trade receivables control account in the general ledger will be debited with 1-2. That's correct. And the interest income account in the general ledger will be credited with 1-2. That's also correct. That looks good.
Right.
Number 2, trade receivables, general ledger will be debited with 240. No, that's wrong. Okay, interest income will be debited. No, that's wrong. The 240 is wrong, 240 is wrong. Yeah, it's number 1.
Number 1.
Okay, I'm just going to write that next to this. Option 1. What number was this? Question 8. Okay, next question. What will be the general ledger entries for the outstanding debt of Miss Luna, which must be written off as irrecoverable? Okay, so where's my credit losses? Further up, I think. Yes, here's it. All right, the 700. Okay, we spoke about this. All right, maybe
Yes.
just to show the working. I think I did write it here. No, I didn't. Let me write it next to this then. Okay, debit the credit loss, credit the debtors. Right, for the credit loss. Right, so we've got it there. Let's see which option's right. Trade receivables control account in the general ledger will be debited. No. Out. Number 2. Trade receivables control account in the general ledger will be debited. No. Out. 3. The trade receivables control account in the general ledger will be debited with 300. No. Out. Number 4. The credit losses account in the general ledger will be debited with 700. Yes. And the trade receivables control account in the general ledger will be credited with 700. Yes. Number 4. Number 5. Credit losses will be debited with 1,000. No. Number 4.
Number 4. Okay.
Option 4. Question 9. Right, see, we've done all the workings. Now it's just pick and choose the right answer, basically. Okay, 10. What will the general ledger entries be for the credit losses recovered? Okay, that's what we just spoke about this. Where is it? Here's it here. The credit losses recovered. What was the amount? Let me go back. What is the amount? 150. Okay, let me just write an amount here. Okay, let me show the debit. Debit bank. Credit losses recovered. Right, there's the transaction. Debit bank, credit losses recovered. 150. Let's go choose the right answer. What number is this? 10, here. What will the general ledger entries be for the credit losses recovered from Miss T. Luna's insolvent estate? Okay. Luna was this one, hey? Let me just double check. No, this was Singh. That was Singh. Where's Luna? Yeah, Luna was this one. Why are they talking about Luna if this is credit losses recovered? Let's go back and check. Okay, here you need to raise this with Unisa. There's a problem with the question.
Okay.
Okay, you didn't recover credit losses from Luna. It was from the other person. Do you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, this wording is bad. It's not credit losses recovered. All right, if you go to the question said they declared a dividend. It was a payment. They paid a portion of the outstanding balance. It's not a credit loss recovered. A recovery is only done after you've written them off. So Mrs. Singh was a credit loss recovered, bad debts recovered. All right, you need to ask them about this. The wording here is bad. Okay, let's write a note about this.
The credit loss is only once you've written them off.
Credit losses recovered.
Oh, credit loss is recovered. Okay.
Only happens once you've written someone off. Yes.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that can't apply to Luna. It must apply to Singh.
Okay.
Okay, question 10. Wording incorrect. Okay, Luna wasn't previously written off. Okay, Luna is being written off.
Okay.
And the estate is paying a portion of the
700.
outstanding amounts. Okay, that's the problem with the wording. Okay, I'm just writing down the corrections here. Okay, so, but you can probably still choose the right answer, but you're not going to look at the credit loss recovered. You're just going to look at Luna. Okay, I drew a diagram here. Where's the diagram? There's it. It's still here. Okay, 1,000 Rand times 30 cents was what we highlighted there, the recovery. Okay,
Yeah.
the dividend that was recovered from the insolvent estate. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, that
So-
300 is going to be received. Okay, what
Right.
point is this? This is point 3. Yeah, this is point 3. Let's write that here next to this. Point 3, Luna. 700 written off.
Right.
Okay, when you write off 700, you use what I had here earlier. Question 9. Okay, question 10. Okay, dividends from the estates. Or let me just say payout. Payout from the insolvent estates. 300. What are you going to do? Debit bank, credit debtors. 300. So there's what we're looking for. Right, so let's go choose an option. Credit losses recovered. See, these are all wrong. It's not a credit loss recovered. That's bad. Credit losses recovered. No. Bank account in the general ledger. Credit losses recovered. No. All of them have credit losses. This is bad. Okay, you're not recovering anything from Luna. Okay, this question's bad. You need to report this. Okay, question 10 is bad. Let me copy this again. Copy paste. I'm going to paste it next to this. Okay, just to read it again. Question 10, wording is incorrect. Luna wasn't written off. Luna wasn't previously written off. Luna is being written off, and the estate is paying a portion. The only debtor that was written off previously was Singh.
Right.
Okay, Singh was written off in August, and then she paid later on. Okay, that's bad debts recovered. That's credit losses recovered.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, there's a problem with this. This one you can report. This one there should be errata for, guaranteed. There has to be. Right, so maybe on the UNISA platform, maybe someone else has picked this up as well. Okay, but question 10, problem.
Right.
Okay, they're talking about credit losses recovered when it doesn't apply to Luna. It applies to Singh, not Luna.
Right.
Okay, so that one we can't answer. I'm going to highlight this in red. Next question. 11. The sales journal was undercast by 100. The rectification of this error will be recorded as follows in the trade receivables control account. Okay, let's go back to our control accounts. There, what do? We added 100 to the sales.
Right.
So let's look for the right answer. The sales amount in the trade receivables control account will be decreased? No. Sales returns? No. Sales returns? No. The balance brought down? No.
Yeah.
The sales amount in the trade receivables control will be increased? Yes. 5.
Yes. Okay. This is
Okay, question 11, option 5 here. I'm just going to write that next to this. Okay, right, and that's it. That's the T account. Okay, I'm not going to balance the account. We don't need to. But if you had to, the balance would be on this side. Okay, you know this is an asset, right?
yes.
Okay, and then you would carry down, brought down, and all of that. But we're not going to do it for this question. It's not necessary.
Right.
Right, I'm just showing it in case. Okay, for other questions, long questions.
So how do I know when I'm meant to do the balance brought down
If it's
and carried
written.
down?
Okay, you always have to do it if it's a written question, not for multiple choice.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. That makes sense.
Okay,
Okay.
I see there was multiple choice in last year's paper. I only looked at December, October, November because I chose a question for you to do for today, and I saw there was multiple choice in that paper.
In the 2019 paper.
Yeah, literally last semester's paper, the one they wrote last year at the end of the year.
Well, I actually don't even have that paper, I don't think. I've got the May, June one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll put it up and then we can look at it. That was the one that we were going to do in terms of the bank recon.
Okay.
Okay.
I looked at May, June 2019. I was going to try do it, but then I didn't have enough time.
Okay, no, that's fine. Don't stress about that. You can do it later on. You can always go back and you can redo.
Okay,
All
perfect.
right, next. All right, we've got the last question. 3 parts, 12 to 15. Okay. You've got KA Furniture Stores. It's a furniture shop operating in Ivory Park. The following information appeared in the accounting records. Okay. A. Totals in the cash receipts, cash payments. B.
Mm-hmm.
Balance in the bank account. Okay, this looks like a bank recon. When I see bank, it's a giveaway. Okay, when they're talking about bank recon. Bank statement. There's the main thing. Okay, the bank statements. Right, now it's definitely a bank recon. Right, so how does a bank recon work? Well, you've got the bank and you've got the business. Are they separate?
Yes.
Yes, they are. Okay, and if you don't like the idea of a business, then just put yourself here. Okay, you have a bank account. Okay, you are an individual. Your bank is separate to you as the individual. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, you will know what happens in your account. You'll know what income you earn. You'll know what expenses you've got to pay. You'll know what happens in your account. Okay, the
Right.
bank is going to have a bank statement and they're going to write down all the transactions that go through your account. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, does your bank statement always match with what you have in your books?
No, not always.
Not always. Okay, because sometimes you have errors, sometimes you have direct deposits, sometimes you have debit orders. Okay, sometimes you have transactions that appear on the bank statement that don't appear in your books.
Okay.
Okay, all of this I discuss in detail in that video covering the bank recon theory, but I'm just trying to summarize some of it because maybe you haven't had time to look at it yet. So at least it's
Yes,
not
yeah.
like you're not completely lost when we go through this, okay? All right, but you need to go and you need to watch that video because a bank recon is standalone. You can literally maybe spend an hour looking at those two videos. Okay, it's I think the one's half an hour and the other's about 45 minutes or so, and then that literally covers the bank recon. And then once you've done that, then you just need to practice. Okay,
Okay,
so
mate.
I'm showing you the process. Okay, you
Yes.
business, okay, separate from the bank.
Yes.
Bank statements, what the bank produces. What are you going to have? You're going to have your own accounting records. Okay, you're going to keep track of your bank. What do we call that? We call that a general ledger account.
Okay.
It's a T account, and what is the account name going to be? Bank. Okay, what are you going to do in this account? You're going to manage your transactions. You're going to show everything that goes into that bank account. You'll have a balance, generally on the positive side, on the debit side. Okay, which side of the account do you put your cash receipts on?
On the debit side.
Good. Okay, bank will increase on the, let me just
Debit.
wrap this out. Total receipts. It's just too long to write. I'm going to abbreviate. Erase here. Cash receipts journal, cash payments journal. Payments decrease the bank. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, and then you're going to balance the account off, and then you'll have a balance. Sometimes this balance and that balance in the bank doesn't always match.
Okay.
Right, so there's two things that you need to remember with the bank recon. You're either going to adjust
Right.
or you're going to reconcile.
Okay.
Okay, you don't do both. It's one or the other. The or is big for a reason because you never do both. Okay, you never, ever, ever do both. It's either or. You're either on this side or you're on that side. Right, so when do you adjust? You adjust when your books are incorrect. Right, so if you've made a mistake, you've got to fix it. Okay? If the bank makes a mistake, can you fix it?
No.
No, you can't. Okay, unless you report it to the bank has to fix it. You don't control their records. You can't change your bank statements. Right, and that's a reconciling item. All right, reconcile means you're checking your books with the bank's books. Okay, does that kind of make sense?
Yes, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, good. All right, so let's have a look at this question. Let's delete all this writing so you can see the question. Okay, what do we have here? Number D. Checks have been issued, not yet presented. Right, what do we call those things? Outstanding payments.
Okay.
Right, so if you write out checks and those checks haven't been presented for payment, they're outstanding. They'll be outstanding until they are paid. Does that make sense?
Yes, so does that mean they won't reflect on the bank statement?
Correct. Okay, they will reflect in your books because where would you have put this? In the cash payments journal. So are your books correct? Yes. Is the bank's books correct? No. Adjust or reconcile? Reconcile. Make sense?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so it's as simple as that. It's literally adjust or reconcile. Adjust or reconcile. You'll see when I do more questions. I'm hoping that we can cover the bank recon, okay, in today's session to try get that section like done in terms of application. All right. Then if you need more detail in terms of the theory, you've got 2 videos that I've created previously that cover it in detail. Right. You literally just need to watch it and you'll know how to do the bank recon. And then you just need to practice it in terms of application. Right. So I'll do these questions for you. Right, it's a good idea to go watch the theory, maybe study the theory, and then apply the theory later on. Okay, because then you'll have an answer for this. Then you can always redo it tomorrow, next day, a week later, once you've forgotten the answers. Okay, same with the past papers. Right, today I'm going to show you how to do the bank recon. I'm going to use a past paper to discuss the theory, okay, to take you through the workings. Right, I've done it with you. Okay, you haven't had a chance to do it yet. What I would do is I would save the file, okay, save the answer, don't look at the answer. Right, maybe tomorrow or the next day, take out the same question, do the question on your own, and then go check it and see, well, how did that go? Okay, and that's the approach. And then you'll do fine. You'll make it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's have a look at the rest. Deposit made. Did not reflect on the bank statement. What is that? Outstanding deposit. Okay. F. Following checks were recorded as outstanding checks in April. How does April relate to May? It's the previous month. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Then we've got G. The following debit orders were noted on the bank statement. It's on the bank statement. So whose books are correct?
If it's on the bank statement, then the bank's books.
Correct. The bank is correct. So must the bank change anything?
No.
No. If it's a debit order, it's on the bank statement. The bank is correct. Do we have it?
No.
No, we don't. So we adjust.
Just, right.
Right. So some of these you adjust, some of them you reconcile. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. Wow, this is a long question, hey? All right, H. You've got clients that have made direct deposits. Okay, I, you've got a catering service here. You've got a bank issued check that has not yet been presented. You've got bank charges. You've got a business bank account here. What else do you have? Okay, here's personal and business. There's another transaction. And then the last one is the check. Okay, now we need to process this. All right, so let's do a bank recon. This is actually a long question, not a short question.
Yeah.
They've just given you answers. All right, so this is how a bank recon works. Okay, this is theory. If you've never done a bank recon before, this is how you do it.
Okay.
Adjustments on the left. Who did we say we need to? Who did we say needs to adjust?
We need to adjust.
Good. Internal. What can you adjust in your books?
What can we adjust?
Yeah, what can you adjust? Think of accounting. What would you adjust?
A bank charge? No, not bank charges.
No, what would you adjust? In other words, would you adjust the journals?
Yes, the cash
Good.
receipts and cash.
Yes, there we go. Perfect. Okay, cash receipts, you can adjust.
Right.
Details, bank. Can you adjust your cash receipts and payments?
Yes.
Yes, you can adjust both. Okay, so copy paste, payments. Right, so I can adjust both of these accounts if I need to. Why? It's internal.
Right.
What's on the left stays on the left. What's on the left is things that I can do inside the business. Okay, what else do we have inside the business? Well, we have a T account. We have a general ledger. Can I adjust my general ledger? Of course I can. It's internal. I can do whatever I like in my accounting records as long as it's in line with IFRS.
Right.
Okay, so in the general ledger, you'll have a T account like that. Right, so what's on the left is internal. What's on the right is external.
Right.
Okay, so when it's external, what's external? The bank statement. Okay, so when I adjust for external errors or timing differences, right, you have to create a bank reconciliation statement.
Okay. Chad? Marlo's got something in his mouth. Sorry.
Right, so that's the bank reconciliation statement. The bank reconciliation statement always starts with the balance as per the bank statement. Can I change that bank statement balance?
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Change
Okay,
it.
that's why you reconcile. Right, you look at the bank statement and you reconcile to your books. Right, so there's the template. This is what you need when doing a bank recon. Your records, the bank's records, now we need to process everything.
Okay.
Right, so how do you do that? Well, you go to the question, you start at the beginning, whatever you read, you record. Whatever you read, you record, and that's how you do it. Okay, let's just delete the discussion points. Let's go through each point carefully. Okay, you'll see this balances perfectly, it's correct. That's the nice thing about a bank recon. That's why I'm saying it's a really good topic to try master, because if you can get it right, you'll know you've got it right in the test because your question will balance. Okay, you'll see this one will probably balance. Okay, if we've done everything correct, it'll balance. If it doesn't balance, then we need to go back and we need to look for our mistakes.
Right.
Okay, makes sense?
Yes.
All right, so let's start. What do you see at the beginning? What is this?
Cash receipts journal and cash payment. So it's
Yeah, so where are you going to put that?
In our records.
Good. Okay, this is something to start with. You have to start with something. You can't start with nothing, right?
Right.
Okay, so totals. Cash receipts, how much? Cash receipts, 167.
Yeah.
Agree? 202.
Yes.
Cash payments.
Yes.
Agree?
Yes.
Okay, next. The balance in the bank account in the general ledger was an unfavorable balance of 40,063 Rand. Okay, be careful. Look at this point here. It relates to the month of May. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what month are we balancing for?
May.
Yeah, let's just double check that. Where's the question? Here's the question. Yes. Okay, they need to tell you there, bank statement there. That's what I'm looking for. Right, perfect. All right, so this would be the balance. How much is the balance? 40,400 and, no, 40,063. Which side of the account do we put this on? Debit or credit?
Balance in the bank account. Debit.
Why? Why do you want to put it on the debit side?
Oh, sorry, it's unfavorable. So it's credit. It's credit because it's
That's
unfavorable.
correct. There we go. Unfavorable means liability. Agree?
Yes.
What was the figure? 40063. Next, bank statements for May had a debit balance. Is a debit balance favorable or unfavorable? Let me ask you this. On your bank statement, do you want a debit balance or a credit balance?
A credit balance.
Why?
Because it means, I think it's the opposite for a bank statement.
You're 100% correct. So it's opposite, meaning the bank still owes you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so how you can remember this, an easy way to remember this is think about debit orders. Do you like debit orders?
No.
No. Okay, nobody wants more debit orders than they have, right? Okay, you don't want more debits. You want more credits. Credits are good on the bank statements because you're not looking at your records, you're looking at the bank's. It's the opposite. Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that. That's the important point. Okay, what you have in your books is the opposite to what the bank has in their books.
Okay.
Right, so debit balance is going to be shown in the bank statement. So here's the bank statement. What balance does the bank statement have? A debit balance. How much does it have? 44970. 44970. Right, we've looked at that. Next point. The bookkeeper compared the cash receipts and the cash payments journal with the bank statement and noted the following differences. The following checks issued in May were not yet presented. Okay, we spoke about this. Right, is this an adjustment or a reconciling item? Who's correct?
Reconciling, I think.
Yes, we are. Well done. Outstanding checks, 456, 460, 470. Okay, debit or credit, which side? If they're outstanding, you're waiting for them to go through your bank account. Which side of the account would they go on?
Debit.
Good. 2014-700.
Why does it go on the? Why does it go on the debit?
9,900.
Yeah. Sorry, why does it go on the debit side again? Because it's the opposite.
It's the opposite because it's a payment, isn't it?
Right. Yes.
Okay, so has this check gone off your bank statement?
No, not yet.
Not yet. When it goes off, what's going to happen?
It's going to be credited.
It's going to be debited. Why would it be credited? You've issued the checks.
Right. Okay.
Issued checks mean I've paid, right? When do you issue checks?
Yes.
When you make a payment?
Yes.
Okay, so these checks were issued. So in other words, you had a check,
yes.
You wrote it out. You wrote it out to 3 people. Have those people presented those checks for payment?
No.
No, they haven't. Is that okay?
Yes, got it. Thank you.
All right, so when it goes off, eventually it will be debited.
Okay.
E, a deposit made on the 31st of May for 65 did not reflect in the bank statement. Adjust or reconcile?
Reconcile.
Good. Outstanding deposit. Was it 65, hey? Yes. Good. Okay, again, it's credited because when the bank processes it, it will be credited to your account. Have they processed it? Not yet. It's outstanding. Tick, tick. If the following checks were recorded as outstanding checks in April in the reconciliation statement. Okay, so we've got a few here. Check number 436 issued on the 31st of March. Where are we? We're in May. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so if a check
But
is more than 6 months, it becomes stale. This is March, so let's see. It'll be April, May. Okay, this check is still good. 436. It's still outstanding. So it'll still be
right.
outstanding this month. We need to add more outstanding checks. What is it? 430? 436. 11,900.
Yeah.
Check number 440, issued on the 2nd of April. Same thing. Issued in April, outstanding in April, hasn't gone through yet, still outstanding in May. Make sense?
Yes. Makes
Good.
sense.
440, 14,000. Okay, check 441, issued on 17 April. Same thing again. For 1,500.
Right.
Oh, but they've made a note here. Only check number 441 was presented for payment in May. See that?
Yeah. So that
Okay, so
means that you
tick.
don't need to. Right.
Don't need to do anything. Good. Following debit orders were notes on the bank. Debit order, JJ Municipality, 6.5 for water and electricity. These were debit orders on the bank statement. Adjust or reconcile.
Adjust.
Good. Water and electricity, payment or receipts.
Payment.
Good. How much was it? 6.5.
Yeah.
Okay, debit order for the insurers for 2.9. Another payment, adjust.
Right.
Okay, not in our books, on the bank statement, adjust.
Right. Okay.
Okay, debit order for the rent, 9,000. Right, the following clients made direct deposits. Direct deposits, what are they viewed as? Receipts or payments?
Receipts.
Good. Adjust to reconcile.
Direct deposits. Adjust.
Very good. Okay, direct deposit means it's on the bank statement, not in my books. King, Satoli. And here's the last one. Kruger. Okay, amounts. 5147, 5147.35. 5147.35. Okay, next. 30th of November, Naidu provided catering service to KA Furniture. Remember, we're KA Furniture. The bookkeeper issued a check 220 for 15,002 Naidu's catering services on 30th of November. The check has not yet been presented for payment. Right, when did this check happen? In November.
30th November.
How many months ago is that?
More than 6 months, I'm
Exactly.
sure.
Okay, so if you count, it'll be December, January, February, March, April. May is the 6th month.
Right.
Okay, so this would be a stale check. The bookkeeper issued a check for 15. The check has not been presented for payment. So check number 220 would be stale. Where do you put stale checks?
Don't know. Not sure.
Okay, stale checks you need to adjust. Right, who paid who here?
Oh, the book we paid.
Yes, you paid. So you paid. So previously, in the past, what would you have done? You would have shown that in a CPJ. Did the payment go through? No, not for 6 months. Will the payment ever go through? No, it won't. So what must you do? Reverse out the payment. Stale check. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good. Okay, stale checks always go to the cash receipt. You can just study it if you don't want to remember it like that. Okay, 15,000 is the amount. Next, bank charges for the month of May, 250. Interest, 12. Adjust to reconcile.
Adjust.
Good. Just check those amounts. 250, 120, good. Okay, next. Locker deposit 10,000 on the 31st of May directly into the business bank account to increase his capital contribution. Okay, what is this? Adjust to reconcile.
Oh, it's a stale check. No. Well, it's been
Adjust to
more than 6
reconcile.
months. Oh, no, never mind.
Are our books correct?
Yes, it's the bank we need to reconcile.
There we go. Outstanding deposit. Right, so because it's on the last day of the month, it's probably not going to go through that month, right? And remember, it takes a few hours or days to clear.
Right.
K. Locker went to the bank to deposit 5,000 into his personal bank accounts. A trainee bank teller at ABC Bank deposited 5,000 into KA Furniture Store's business account. Thoughts?
There's 2 different transactions taking place. Is that right?
No, there's not 2 different transactions. There's one transaction, but it wasn't captured correctly. Which is the correct transaction?
His personal account.
Very good. Okay, so he went to the bank and he was supposed to deposit money into his own account. Where did the money go? It went into the business's account.
Oh, okay, I see.
So what happened? It's an error.
Right.
Who's going to fix the error? The bank.
Bank.
Okay, what is the bank going to do when they fix the error? They're going to take that money out of the business account and they're going to give it to the owner, 5,000.
Okay.
Okay, the bank account is overstated. Check number, the last one, check number 470 for 281 was correctly recorded in the cash payments journal, but according to the bank statement received from ABC Bank, the amount paid was 218. Who's correct?
Oh, the we correct.
Good. If we're correct, are we going to adjust?
We're going to reconcile.
Correct. There we go. Bank error again. Okay, was the amount too high or too low?
It is too low.
Correct. If it's too low, the bank is going to correct it. They're going to process a bigger payment. So the difference is going to be debited. 281 minus 218. 281 minus 218. Is that right? Yes. 281 minus 218. Perfect. Is that it? Yes. Now we just need to choose options. Okay, so let's go sum up. Right, so there you go. There's your first bank recon that I've done with you. Okay, from start to finish. What do we need to do now? We need to balance this account off. Okay, notice what's on the left is on the left. You keep everything separate. You check it at the end. Right, so here, let's check it. Sum up the left. Okay, cash receipts. What do cash receipts do to your bank account?
They increase your bank account.
Correct. Total receipts. And then the opposite would be true for this one. Do you agree?
Yeah, it decreases your bank.
Yes. Okay. Right, how do you balance this account? Balance this account for me. You did some balancing yesterday. Let's see if you still know how to do this. If you've got a T account that looks like that, how do you balance it?
So you add up the one side, see which side's bigger.
Good. So which side's bigger?
That side. The 195.
Debit side, credit side, which side?
Debit side.
Debit side. This side's bigger.
No, credit side. Credit side.
This side's bigger.
Yeah, sorry. I have to get my eyes tested.
Okay. Put the big total on both sides. How do we get the balance now?
So, you subtract, subtract something.
What's missing? Do we have the right total on this side?
No.
Yes. Add those two amounts, you get that figure.
Yes, yeah, on that side. On the debit side, we don't have.
Yes. So how do we get the missing figure?
You have to subtract 260833.
Yes.
Subtract
This
99.
minus that gives you that answer.
Right.
Okay, and this is what you're checking for, right, in terms of balancing. Right, now we look at this side. Okay, same thing applies here on this side. All you do is you put a nice total column here. Okay, delete those extra ones. Okay, you total up both sides. You see which side's bigger. Okay, which side looks bigger? This side looks bigger, hey?
The debit side.
Yeah, so let's put that on this side as well. Okay, let's see if it works. No. Okay, 20,000 out. I think it's this. The outstanding deposit. That needs to go. Okay. Let's see why though.
How's that go? Yeah.
Balance as per the general ledger account. Okay, if I delete this, the 10,000, I think I might have to include the 10,000 on this side as well because it was something that they processed. Let's just go check that. Let's just read this part again. Okay, so I'm out by 20. I need to see this one again. This one is going to be the problem one. Okay, let's read that again. Mr. K. Locker deposited 10,000 on the 31st of May directly into the business bank account to increase his capital contribution.
So where's the error in that? I don't understand.
He deposited, so... but Mr. A is the... If he deposited money into the business bank account to increase his capital contribution. Okay, I see what you're saying in terms of what's the error, but now
Yeah.
if we've deposited that on the last day of the month, that means
Right.
it's outstanding. So it's an outstanding deposit. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
because this is deposited by the owner as a capital contribution, we've got to include that here as well. Capital. Okay, yeah, so we haven't recorded it. It's now recorded. So we need to put a 10,000 there. All right, so that updates. That's 55. That's 10, 45. Still out by 10. Let's go read this one. Okay, there's the 5 and the 5. Mr. K. Locker went to the bank to deposit 5,000 into his personal bank account. Okay, so let's think about it. He went to the bank. He deposited 5,000 into his personal bank account. This is the owner. If it's the personal bank account, it's his own money. It's got nothing to do with the business, right? Okay.
Right.
Then they say a trainee bank teller at ABC Bank deposited 5,000 into KA Furniture Store's business account. So that means that the bank made a mistake. The bank had deposited 5,000 Rand into the bank, into the business's bank account when they shouldn't have. So
Right.
you would have to reconcile because it's a bank error. And if you're reconciling because of the bank error, this 5,000 would have been too high or too low. Let's think about that. It would have been too high. Yeah, no, it's correct. That one's fine. I think it's still this one actually then, K. Mr. K. Locker deposited 10,000 directly into the business bank account. Okay, I think this is the consideration. Okay, if it was deposited in the bank account, it was processed. I'm making an assumption. I'm assuming this is outstanding. And I think that's incorrect because it says here that he deposited the money full stop. They didn't say anything about this being outstanding. Do you see?
Right.
Okay, so I assumed it was outstanding, and that's incorrect. So this outstanding, I'm going to delete.
So what is it then? If
It's an
not
adjustment, not an adjust, not an outstanding transaction. Okay, so I'm just going to put a note here for this one, asterisk. Okay, your point number, what is this? Point K. Point K only said we deposited money. Okay, no mention that it was outstanding. Okay, so yeah, I made an assumption when I shouldn't have, because if you make the assumption that it's outstanding, if you insert that here in the bank reconciliation statement, okay, it doesn't balance. Right, if you assume it's something that you haven't accounted for, then it balances, and that was the mistake.
Okay.
Okay, because you should have that balance like that. Okay, I knew it was one of those two. It was either this one or that one, because it was out by 10,000, 20,000, because it's two incorrect answers. Well, one incorrect answer. Okay, it's a double. It's a double. Well, it's doubled because if I process something here when I should have processed it there, I'm doubling it.
So your bank account in the internal records has to match obviously the bank account in the external records.
Yes, always. Yeah. So what you see here has to always match up with there. That's why I know if I've got this right or not.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so this is point K. All right, I'll show you one more example. There's one in last year's paper. It's a shorter one, not as long as this one. Let's just answer the questions. We're going to go pick answers now. Okay, so number 12. How would you rectify the error made by the bank for the incorrect amount reflecting in the bank statement of that one? Okay, so our answer, let's go back. Let's shrink it. It was here, there. 63 on the bank reconciliation. An entry will be made on the debit side of the bank reconciliation statement with the difference of, yes, number 5. Option 5. I'm going to put numbers here. Question 12, option 5. Do you see it?
Okay. Yes.
There's it. Okay, right. 13. Where would you record check number 220, which has not yet presented for payment? Refer to I above. Let's go to I. Where's I? I was Naidu. Okay, Naidu was the stale check. Remember we discussed that?
Yes.
Okay, let's put a note here. Where's the stale check? Here's the stale check. Okay, this is question 13. Okay, what option is it? Let's go see. Question 13. An entry on the cash payments? No. An entry on the cash payments? No. An entry made on the cash receipts? Yes. Of 30,000? No. An entry made on the credit side of the bank statement? No. An entry made on the cash receipts journal 15,000 as a cancelled check? Yes. Number 5.
Okay.
Okay, there's the answer. Question 13, option 5.
Okay, thank you.
14. In which of the following would you record the direct deposits made by the clients of KA Furniture Store? Refer to H above. Where's H? H was Singh Satoli Kruger. Where do we put it? Here. King Satoli Kruger. Okay, this is question 14. Right, let's go pick an option. Question 14. Cash Receipts Journal 3. Option 3. Okay, there's King Satoli Kruger. See it?
Yes.
Okay, last one. Which of the following represents the correct bank reconciliation statement? Okay, so which one looks like ours? What is our balance? 55533. That one's wrong. Yeah, this one's right. 55533. I see the right balance. Okay, does it look the same? Let's go check. First line, 44970. Yes. Second line, okay, I've got the 20,000. Okay, where's the 5? There's the 5. Okay, let me highlight these just so, or let me just say yes next to it. Okay, the 20,000 is there. The 14.7 is there. Okay, the 5,000, that's the correction. Here's it at the bottom. It's there. Okay, or let me look at the answer. Okay, there's 5, there's 5. Okay, let's start again. There's 5, there's 5. Got it. 11,9. Where's 11,9? Here's 11,9. Got it. Okay, where's 14? Got it.
Right.
Okay, where's 20? Got it. Where's 14,7? Got it. 9,9? Here's it. Got it. Okay, what else are we looking for? 63. Okay, this one I also said yes, eh? We checked that one. Got it. The 63, I got it. Okay, the balance, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, the outstanding deposit, the 65, I got it. It must be option 2. Option 2 is perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so this whole question, option 2. Option 2, question 15. Alright, so there we go. We've even confirmed it's right because there's an option for it. So you can see I made a mistake with that point K. Point K had to go on this side because there was no outstanding amount from the bank. So the bank was very efficient. So just to revisit that point, okay, the bank literally deposited the money on the day that you deposited. There was no delay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that's one. Let me just check how long this other question is, because if we can do one more, that'll be great. At least then you can see the bank recon. Are you happy with this assignment?
Yes, yeah, that was a big help. Thank you.
Okay, let's save that. All right,
That
let's
helps.
open up the past paper. Okay, let's find it. Where is it? Okay, let's see here. Past papers. 2019. This one. Last year's paper. The most recent one. Okay, this came from last semester.
Okay. I think I've got the May-June one. I don't think I've got this one. Did you get
Your
this one?
husband actually sent it to me. He's
Did
the
he?
one that sent it, and he sent it to both of our emails.
Okay,
So just
so
check
then I
your
do.
email. You should have the attachment there. Okay, but it's fine. You can do that later. Let's just see how long this question is. Can we do it now? Okay, it says 30, but it's not that long because you'll see it's actually quite easy. When I looked at it, it was quite a short question. Bank recons you can probably do quite quickly. If it's written, it might take more time. But remember, this isn't a written paper. It's online. So I don't know how they're going to test this online. Are they going to give you an answer sheet that you need to fill in? Or are they going to ask you to write it down and then scan it in and send it to them? Or are they going to give you a multiple choice? Like, I don't know how they're going to do it online. It's the first time they're going to do it, so we'll have to see.
Yeah. There's a rumor that it's going to be like a portfolio assignment, like another assignment, basically.
Oh, that's not bad. Then you take it home, you read it, you do it, and then you return it, basically.
That would be great.
Okay, have a look. Question 1, 25 marks, 30 minutes. It's a short one, not as long as the assignment. The assignment was a long one.
Yes.
This one's not as long. 8 points, that's it. Okay, have a look at the required. Do they want everything? Yes, they do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this. We've got a nice template here. You can even use the template when you do your online assessment. Just copy it, delete all the stuff, leave it blank, and then populate it with stuff that you need.
Okay.
Okay, like what I'm doing here.
Right.
Okay, so let's assume this is the exam. I want a bank recon. Bank recons are easy to do. You know you'll get it right if it balances. Okay, delete all that stuff. Okay, now we're ready to go. All right, so this is what you need. Here's the snapshot. Here's the picture. This is what you need to start a bank recon. Maybe I'll copy it twice so you have a blank version of it as well.
Okay.
Okay, let's write this down. Question 1, October, November 2019. FAC1502, the most recent paper. Okay, let's make that big. Ooh, too big. That's perfect. Okay, so exam technique. This is how I go about it. Right, you've seen one already. Right, this question paper you haven't done yet. Okay, so what I would suggest you do, just follow with me and see if you understand the process. Okay, your bank recon seems to be okay. You kind of know when to adjust and reconcile, which is good. So you just need to practice now. Okay, so what I would do if I was you, After today, you'll have a video for this. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
send this to you as well so you have an answer for it. What you can do is leave it for a day or two so you don't remember any of the answers, and then sit down with the question paper and then do it from start to finish, like it's your exam, and see if you get it right. If you can get it right, then that's brilliant. Then you've learnt a lot in terms of progress and application.
Right. Okay.
Right, so this is the exam technique. Start with the easiest question. Okay, question 1 is the easiest question. Okay, we like bank reconciliations. They're simple, and we can check if we're getting it right or not. Okay, if it doesn't balance, you need to go back and you need to fix it. If it does balance, then that's wonderful. Then you can just continue and you can carry on with the rest of the paper. Right, first bit. Bank statement have a favorable bank balance. You tell me where we're going to put this.
In on the reconcile side.
Very good. There you go. See, you're already getting it right. Okay. Bank statement, favorable balance. Which side, debit or credit?
It's debit because it's favorable.
No.
No, it's the opposite. Credit.
There we go.
Yeah, I know it in theory, but when it comes to applying it, I panic.
Okay. Bank statement, favorable. Bank statement. Okay, no one likes more debit orders, right? So debit orders are bad, credits are good on the bank statement. 43,000 on this side. Bank account general ledger, unfavorable. Where are we going to put this?
In our records.
Good. Which side?
Unfavorable credit side.
Good. Liability, 20,600. Balance here. Okay, next. Cash receipts journal totals. Where are we going to put that?
In the cash receipts journal and cash payments journal.
Good. 8756. Next, number 4. The bookkeeper compared the current bank statement with the cash journals, and they noted the following. Mr. Malloy, a client of T Traders, made a direct deposit into the business bank account. Adjust to reconcile.
And direct deposit. Adjust.
Good. Where?
Direct deposit, so it isn't cash receipts.
Yes.
Because why? Because you're receiving the money.
Correct. It's a deposit. It's a deposit. It's on the bank statement because it's a direct deposit. It's not in your books.
Okay.
Okay, bank charges. Where are you going to put it?
It's going to go on in our records.
Good. 250. Cash payments, right?
Yeah.
Interest. Where are you going to put it?
In our records.
Which side?
In
It's
the-
interest on a credit balance.
So it's in the cash payments journal.
Why cash payments?
Oh, we're receiving interest. Sorry, cash receipts journal on the
Is this
debit.
good interest or bad interest?
It's good interest.
Yes. Be careful. Remember, this is interest on a credit balance.
Okay.
Okay, remember, what are you comparing? You're comparing the bank statements
Right.
to your books. So this is good interest. Adjust to
Okay.
reconcile.
Adjust.
That's it. Okay, Chetia client had a dishonored check. Where do you put dishonored checks?
In our books.
Where?
Right?
Receipts or payments. Dishonored checks always go where?
Cash payments.
Good. Okay, remember, a cash payment, a dishonored check means you received the check. See, notice. Who did you get this
Right.
check from? A client. The client gave you the check. The check is dishonored. So you had the receipt previously, but the receipt obviously didn't go through. So it's a dishonored check. Check RD.
Okay. So all designer checks go in the cash payments journal.
Yes, have a look. Did we have one in this question? No, we didn't have one in this
Yeah.
question.
I think we had. I feel like we spoke about it.
Yeah, we did speak about it, but that was part of debtors, I think. Yeah, here.
Yeah.
This was debtors. Okay, this was a dishonored check from a debtor. So the debtor will go up, the bank will go down. There's it. See, debit, debtors, credit bank. Credit bank means CPJ.
Yes.
Yeah, we did speak about it, but just different context.
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, what is the amount? 1,005. Okay, next. Following debit orders appeared on the bank statement. Adjust to reconcile.
Adjust.
Adjust. Receipts or payments.
Payments.
Good. Water and electricity and insurance. Was that right? 4.5? No, not 4.5. 4,022. 4,022. Do I have the right answer? Let's just double check so we don't make mistakes. 4 and 2. Yes. Okay, next. Check number 675 for 1,000 was issued by Twat Traders and it was incorrectly debited to Twit.
Oh, so we adjust.
No, we don't adjust.
Check number was issued by.
Whose check is this?
Oh, Twats.
Exactly.
Check.
Is this our check?
No. Oh, no, it's not our check.
Correct. They say incorrectly debited.
Oh, by the bank. So the bank incorrectly made the mistake.
Yes. So this is a incorrect debit. This is a debit going off your account and you have no clue what it's for.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so what's going to happen? Bank's going to correct it. Bank error.
Reconcile.
Incorrect debit. Nobody wants the incorrect debit, right? The bank is taking money from your account at somebody else's, actually.
Okay.
Right, that's what happened here. Okay, this business drew the check. Our business paid it. That's wrong.
Right.
Oh, not incorrect debit, so it'll be a credit. Do you agree? Why? They're going to give you back the money that they took.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so it's an incorrect debit because they incorrectly debited your account. Right, Conrad, a tenant, deposited 5.5 into the business bank account. Adjust to reconcile.
Adjust.
Yes, where?
Receipts.
Good. 5.5 coming from a tenant. They're depositing money into the business's accounts. Okay, number 5. Current month's bank statement reflects the following entries which appeared in the previous month's recon. Okay, so the current month. Current month means this month. Showing last month. Right, a deposit of 15. Okay, do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, the current month's bank statement reflected the entries which appeared on the previous month's recon. So that one has gone through. We don't have to do anything. Check number 636 and 641, which were considered as outstanding checks in the previous month's recon, are now presented for payment. So they've gone through. Do you agree?
Yes, because it's presented for payment. Yeah.
Yes. So did we have any outstanding checks here? No, we didn't.
No.
Let's just read that again. The current month's bank statement reflected the following entries, which appeared on the previous month's bank recon. Yeah, so it's previous month meaning last month. So last month they had a deposit, it's gone through this month. Yeah, we don't do anything. These checks were outstanding last month, went through this month, don't do anything. Yeah, next. Okay, that's just lots of additional information. Okay. 6. The cash receipts journal reflected 2 deposits of 6,000 each, which did not appear on the current month's bank statement. Just to reconcile.
Reconcile.
Good. Outstanding deposits. Do you agree?
Yes.
We've got 2. So number 1, number 2. Both 6,000 each, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The following checks were issued in June, but were not yet presented for payment. Issued in June means the current month. So what are those? Issued but not yet presented. Adjust to reconcile.
Reconcile.
Good. Outstanding checks.
That's because you've got the checks, you just haven't given them to the bank yet.
No, not you haven't given them to the bank. You've issued checks. Okay, you've
Oh,
paid
the other.
someone. They haven't deposited the check.
Oh, okay,
So it's
fine.
outstanding. They need to deposit the check before your bank will be debited, I mean. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Right, nine. Okay, let's just do this so I can see the amounts. They're funny amounts. Right, 1991787427541. Okay, the last one. A check for 5 was issued to Jesse's Children's Center on 24 November as a donation for the Christmas party. The check was not cashed as yet by Jesse's Children's Center.
Mm, it wasn't cash, so reconcile.
Yes, outstanding check. What is it? 5. Okay, was there anything else? No, that's it. Okay, this question was out of 25 marks. It was supposed to take us 30 minutes. Let's see how we did. If we didn't get it right, then we need to go back and look for corrections. Let's hope. Okay, sum up. Sum up. Okay, receipts add to your bank. Payments decrease the bank.
Where did you get that balance of 20600 from again? Oh, sorry.
From the question
The question, right? Okay.
here,
Oh, okay.
the
Fine.
bank
Thank you.
accounts in the general ledger, unfavorable liability.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, balances account, which side looks bigger? 99,000, 20
debit
plus
side.
63?
The debit side.
Correct. That does look bigger. Okay, there's the balance we're looking for. Right, so if all goes well, we should end up with the same balance. We're hoping for that balance on this side as well. Right, we do the same thing here. Okay, this we need to sum up because they're funny months. So let's do this. Sum up. Sum up. Which side's bigger? 56. This side's bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, write down the big total on both sides. Right, balance as per the general ledger account. Okay, let's check. 56 minus that one, minus that one, minus that one, minus that one. Okay, there, full marks.
Okay. So why
Right.
did you say that as per the general ledger account at the end there?
Because you're reconciling the bank statement balance to your books.
Okay.
Right,
fine.
that's
Oh,
the
okay.
structure. This is the structure for the bank recon. It's like a template.
Right. Okay.
All right, so you're adjusting, okay, on the left, you're reconciling on the right. Okay, so there's a question that you can redo, okay, after a few days' time when you've forgotten the answer. All right, but see, that's the exam technique. Right, this is a bank reconciliation. This is how you do the bank recon. Now it's just practice, practice, practice. Right, questions will be different. Approach stays the same.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. That was a big help. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Great. I'm glad you found it helpful. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to email all this to you. So I'll email this and then I'll
you.
upload the video and all of that. And then you can watch this again if you need to. But I think
And
you're
then
progressing
maybe-
quite well. You just need to do more activities and questions.
Okay, well, thank you. When next can we have a session?
I've got Wednesday and Thursday. So the sessions that you've had this week, they're still open next week. So we can
Yes.
still host next week either Wednesday and Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday. You can decide.
Oh, no, I think both because I've already gone through some examples in chapter 7 and I saw the solutions, but I don't know why they got there. So I have a few questions that I want to go over.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. So I think let's do that then. So on Wednesday, I think Wednesday bring specific questions that you've maybe looked at, but actual questions that you've either looked at in terms of past papers or you've looked
Yeah.
at in terms of the
Study
study guide.
guide.
And then if you're not understanding how they've gotten a specific answer, then we can discuss those things. I mean that we can use maybe the first half of the hour, and then the second half I can do
Yeah.
more questions with you or go through the rest of this past paper or other questions. It's up to you. You can tell me what you want,
Yeah,
what
no,
would be
no, that
best.
sounds good. So then I want to take Wednesday and Thursday, like this week,
Okay, that's fine. All
please.
right, so I'll invoice then for those two.
Yeah.
Do you also want the past papers, the previous ones I
Yes,
have?
yes, no, please, I do. So if
Okay,
you
then
can
I'll add
invoice,
that as well, and then I'll just invoice it as one. Okay.
perfect. Thank you so much.